Okay, Jeremy, why is forgiveness important in peace building?
Ooh, important subject, large subject. I think forgiveness resonates in different ways with different people. The question is what does forgiveness mean to you? It's a letting go of resentment, a letting go of anger. It doesn't mean we're forgetting. It just means we're forgiving. We're opening a space for the person to get back in our good graces, find some trust again with that person, or just let it go. If there's no more relationship, how do we just let it go and stop feeding the anger and resentment that we're feeling? There's a time for forgiveness. There's also a time for resentment. You can give space to both of them. And maybe it's an important process to be angry with people and to feel that resentment or as some sort of need to be in the right position for a while. But at the end of the day, at some point, I think it's important to say, okay, it's been 6 months of anger, or it's been 3 weeks of anger, or it's been a year of anger. I think it's time to forgive. At that point, number one, I think if you're not forgiving, if you're holding on to anger and resentment, it's kind of not hurting anyone but you. And it is a liberation when you're able to forgive, when you're able to let go. And I guess the question I would ask someone if they're having trouble forgiving is, what's stopping you from forgiving? And a lot of times the answer that I get is, well, if I forgive them, then it's sort of like they won, or I'm not right anymore, or I'm no longer in the moral, righteous, superior position, right? So I have a sense of moral superiority if I don't forgive. And as soon as I forgive, we're kind of on equal playing fields again. And so I would just question, why do you need to be morally superior with this individual? You went through your process of anger for a while, and that's okay. And that was maybe necessary and maybe justified. But at what point do you let go so you can be liberated from that? And so also you can open up space for trust again in your life, maybe with this individual, maybe with others. Maybe sometimes when you don't forgive one person, it gets projected out onto other people in life, and you have trouble trusting other people. So going into a process of forgiveness, of really letting go, of opening a space for trust again, can be transformative on a number of levels, not just for the individual relationship, but for all relationships in your life. So I think, building peace in your life, not just with the individual, but in general, it really does, I think it does warrant a level of forgiveness, a level of letting go of resentment and anger so that you can open up space for trust again.
I like how you're framing it, that it can include reconciliation or it cannot, depending on, the situation and who that person is. You can have a more therapeutic kind of forgiveness where it's about your own personal journey, own personal healing. And then you have other parts to that, which might include reconciliation, but might not. It might help build that trust again, but that's not for everyone. So I think keeping that open is really important.
Yeah, and I think it's like being very intentional about what reconciliation looks like. So if you want to continue the relationship, or you have no choice but to continue the relationship because you live among certain people or you work next to certain people or something, then thinking like, what do you need to forgive? What do you need? What's the thing they could do? What's the thing they could show you? What would it take to rebuild trust? So being really clear on that. And if the relationship isn't important to continue and you can walk away, then that's great. They don't need to do anything. But then now, what do you need to do to forgive? What are you requiring? What do you need to come to? Do you need to write something down? Do you need to write what you learned down, or what process do you need to let go so that you can free space in your own spirit and heart to start trusting and opening up again to people?